Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Pint of Cthulhu interview today. My co-host Jay, and we have a very special guest that we've been trying to get on for quite a while now, and holy fuck, it's actually happened. Paul Gannon from Cheapshow. How are you doing?
Oh, fucking hot. Can I swear?
Yes, you can.
Oh, yes.
So
yes,
fucking cunting hot right now. Absolutely shitting horrible. I mean, the thing is, I like heat, but I like heat when I know I can go to a place where there's some recourse from it, right? Like an AC thing. And right now, the best place I can go to get cold is to go to Morrison's up the road, where it's nice and chill in there. So I have a nice, slow shop. And then I come home and sit in my sweat box and work.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. We have a corner shop down near me, and that's the only place within a mile with aircon.
And I work in a freezer shop, you sad bastards.
Well, to each their own.
Right. Well, let's get the first icebreaker question out of the way. So, we ask this to every guest. If you would say a Pint of Cthulhu would be any kind of drink, what would it be?
And if Cheapshow was a drink or cocktail, what would it be?
In comparison.
Well, the Cheapshow drink would be just piss out of a toilet. I think we even did that for one of our live shows. We did a Cheapshow cocktail, which was served in a ceramic white mug, so it looked like a toilet bowl and had toilet tissue coming off the side. So that counts as that. And then for your one, I would go with the short-lived Nemesis soft drink of the 90s that was licorice and Ribena flavoured and was brought out to celebrate the ride Alton Towers.
Ah. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, there you go, exactly. To be fair, I literally read about it on the internet 10 minutes ago, and then when you asked the drink, it was just, my brain just pushed it forward and went, that's a nice topic.
Is that because you recently went to Park?
I mean, there's also that, to be fair, as well. But no, I do remember getting that drink back in the day, and I reasonably remember enjoying it. Because, what was it? What did I say it was called? Licorice and raspberry or whatever it was.
Licorice and Ribena, I believe you said.
Yeah, something like that. Even so, it was blackcurrant and licorice. It was a berry and a licorice drink. Fizzy as well. So put that up with Quattro, with drinks I wish they'd bring back for no real reason, just to make me happy.
Can't argue that one. Well, Jay, do you want to ask the first proper question then?
Sure thing. So, we know you from Cheapshow, obviously, and probably most of our audience does too, but tell us a bit about yourself anyway.
Oh, God. This is like counselling now. Okay.
How was your childhood? What's your relationship with your father?
We're not going that far back. Fuck that. Basically, I always liked doing comedy. I started out doing comedy. One of the first things I ever did with my life when I left university was I wrote some awful fucking sketches for things like Radio 4's Dead Ringers or the News Quiz and stuff like that. And back then I thought, my life's going to be BBC sketch shows and blah, blah, blah. That did not happen. Instead, I had a massive nervous breakdown and then became a ghost hunter for 5 years whilst doing stand-up, which led to a solo show about that, which mentally destroyed me as well as financially. And then the lowest point in my life, I created Cheapshow because I was like enjoying listening to podcasts by like things like Kevin Smith's, Smodcasts and things like that, and the Dollop. And I was like, well, I hate doing stand-up, but I love comedy. I have access to shitty recording equipment. And then my life kind of pivoted, and I left London for the first time in 16 years for a job in Southampton, where I accidentally got into radio. And then through that, it became easier to make Cheapshow. So Eli and I, who I do the podcast with, we'd been doing sketch shows at Edinburgh and stand-up and things like that. And I was like, do you want to do a podcast? And he was like, I don't care. And so we did one. And then literally 11 years later, we're still doing it. And 500 episodes is in August 23rd. So yeah, I'm just planning for that. So that's the potted history.
Damn. Nice. So, have you ever played anything in the TTRPG world? So, e.g. D&D. If so, what was kind of your first one? What do you get in? What kind of game things do you play as?
What's your drug?
No, never played one. But
never?
I did have. No, never. Mostly because I never had well, when I was growing up, that just wasn't a thing with the kids I grew up with. You know what I mean? It was Super Nintendo, Genesis. That was like our and also I was doing pirate radio as a teenager. So like that was the kind of thing I did with friends. And then at university, I don't think I knew anyone who did it. We were all like theatre and like sketch comedy types. So we were all fucking went on and on about Monty Python and shit like that.
Yeah,
It was like
Python.
typically obnoxious early comedy fan behaviour. And so it just didn't come into my remit. The closest I ever got was when I was like 10 or 11 and Ghostbusters 2 came out. So I don't even know how I got this now on reflection, but I came into the possession of the West End Games Ghostbusters 2 international roleplay game, which is, a great big thick book. It takes place after Ghostbusters 2. You're an independent ghostbusting unit that works within New York. And, as far as I knew, it was as D&D as I was going to get. But again, it was, honestly, what put me off more than anything else was the thickness of the book. And I don't think I had friends at the time who would tolerate sitting down to understand it. So I only just had it. I just had it in my collection. And I still do, unloved and unplayed.
Oh.
Oof.
A rare collector's item then.
Oh, no.
Mine one's battered, and even a good nick one on eBay is going to set you back maybe $30-$40. It ain't that bad. It depends really, but like the one I've got, because I just collect. Back then, any old Ghostbusters shit. And back then, it was easier. It was harder to get stuff than it is now. I say in passing that it's funny, but like I have more Ghostbusters toys and shit now than I did when I was 10, and that shouldn't be right. So.
You have a passion, you might as well enjoy yourself,
Speaking
You
of,
don't
how
have
much,
Yes,
as a
but-
kid.
how much did that Thunderbirds game set you back, Matt?
About 50 odd.
Yeah, see? Doesn't have to be big.
You know what I mean? It's like, you pay what you want. You kind of take roll the dice on what you think is a good investment. So
Yeah.
sometimes you. It's like, for instance, famously on the podcast, I found a mint condition version of the Milton Bradley electronic board game Dark Tower, which, if you've heard of that, is basically Dungeons and Dragons with a big plastic tower in the middle and a primitive computer inside that would determine successive rolls and treasure and things like that. And how it did it was it had film strips around the inside of the tower on 3 levels and lights, and they would rotate the film strips and blink out light, so you'd see the film strip light up in the Dark Tower, and it would say, "Oh, you lost that battle," or "That one got 30 gold," or whatever it ends up being. But that's still in storage just there. I kept it out because that's the thing. I found it for £7. Most complete versions on eBay go for about 300, which is crazy.
Wow.
Lucky
Yeah, you've got to
bastard.
keep an eye on that one.
Well, I have said that we might do it on the other YouTube channel with Stuart and Oliver that I do, the board game one, that we might do Dark Tower as a live stream. Because you can't really play that for 20 odd minutes. Half the episodes we do there are designed to be played within 30, 40 minutes at a rush pace, and you can't do that with things like Dark Tower.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, you talked a little bit about Cheapshow, but how about you talk some more? So, how did you get started with it, and how did you and Eli meet?
Eli and I met on Tinder originally, and I didn't think we'd match, but you'd roll the dice on something. No.
Take a chance on
What happened? I mean, the boring story is we were both stand-ups at the same time, and we'd often meet up at this regular gig in London called the Laughing Cavaliers, Brewhouse Laughing Cavaliers, which was a long-established comedy night, and the Laughing Cavaliers were the end-of-the-night improv group that would basically fuck about, like Whose Lines It Anyway type stuff. And over the years, that group of comedians had people like Eddie Izzard in, and anything like Jimmy Carr or whatever. But like by the time I started gigging there, it's like luster had long since gone, and like the numbers weren't there for stand-up. Stand-up was changing at that time as well, for various boring fucking social reasons and financial reasons. But like we met there, and not 9 times out of 10, but like every other night we'd have to pull the gig because there weren't enough punters to do anything with. And some nights it'd be storming. But we met through doing that, from him doing his stand-up and me doing my stand-up. And then, because we were there so often, the guy who run the venue invited us into the Laughing Cavaliers improv group. And then from there we started a sketch group with a friend of mine called Graham Casey. And then the 3 of us did Edinburgh for a few years. Reasonably successfully. Not like super successful, but we always had good audiences. And we made our money back, and like we did the free fringe and things like that. So it was good, but like by the time we finished our last show, I was kind of more keen to do something on my own. And Eli was doing stand-up. And then what that led to was my Ghostbusters spaced solo show that I took to Edinburgh. And that was just a fucking top-to-bottom shit show, which broke me. And I basically kind of killed my love of comedy and stand-up for a while. Because, I mean, again, long, dark passage of my life, most of my mid-30s. But when I got out of the back of that, I just didn't want to do stand-up anymore. So it was like me and Eli got together and we started doing... Initially, we started doing a comedy night called Geek Night Out, where it was like before, you know, the industry of geek culture exploded like it did. We were doing a comedy night where we invite stand-ups to not just talk about like Superman or Marvel or whatever, but like talk about whatever their passion was, to geek out about it. And then that led to a spin-off show called The Geekatorium, which was the same but different, but whatever. And it was through doing the Geekatorium that me and Eli started developing this kind of double act. It was never intentional. It was just because he had his shtick and I had mine. And when we shared the stage, that would just be abrasive. And then that became a thing called the Unclickables, which we wanted to be a magazine formatted stand-up show that we recorded as a podcast. And it went all right. Numbers went up and down depending on tourists and weather and things like that, and most of those episodes were fine but not great. And then we retooled it as Cheapshow because we realised, I mean, this is again the short version, but we realised a lot of the things we were doing in those shows were based around charity shops and things we were buying cheap on the way into the gig. And so I said, let's just rebrand and start again. And so we renamed it Cheapshow, we rebranded it, we repackaged some of those Unclickable episodes to be our first 10, I think it is, that were basically format worthy but not really what it became. And then after that it just became, as I say, I moved into radio, had access to a radio studio. Eli would come down and record 2 episodes at once on a day, so I could then edit the show and put it out fortnightly. Because of our, well, again, this is another side story, but like, because I was working with Stuart Ashens on a few things at the time, he said, well, do you want to help with this thing that eventually became Bartians? And Bartians, well, Bartians is Bartians. Stuart Ash and Barry, I came in to produce it. They wanted it to be a bit more mythical Good Morning or whatever that fucking show's called. And then I made the mistake of inviting Eli in. And then that kind of fundamentally changed Bartians, really, I think, fundamentally going forward. And it became more of a gang show where, you know, you'd have cousin Dan coming in or whatever, and then you'd have Izzy and Chris popping into time and time. So it became more like a family show. And we launched Cheapshow at the time Bartians was kind of growing. And so, I mean, honestly, the reason why Cheapshow's been going for as long as it is I think because A, we relaunched it 11 years ago when the landscape was different, and because of Stuart Ashen. Honestly, every time I'm thankful of anything, I'm thankful to Stuart for giving us the time of day and being anywhere near associated with us, frankly. So that gave us the burst that got us going and getting us some good numbers. And then blah, 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 blah. 11 years of infighting, adventures, cheap shit, horrible food, tacky toys, awful records, walkabouts around the UK, blah, 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 blah. And then we're looking at 500 episodes, and that's kind of the history. I would like to say Cheapshow's been weirdly consistent in its inconsistency. So, like, I think you can still listen to episode, like, 50 and episode 400 and whatever, and they'd be not too dissimilar, other than maybe sound quality. So, you know, I'm reasonably happy with what we've done, despite the natural shame I should have.
There should be no shame in your success, because no shame at all.
Well, I think a little bit of shame, considering some of the things we've had to do overall in general for the sake of cheap laughs. And it's fine, fuck it, I don't have any dignity.
Yeah, we're finding that out ourselves. You have to have no dignity at all to get anywhere.
No.
So, you were mentioning cheap tat and stuff. What would you say over the past 11 years has been the best and worst piece of tat you have found?
I think, honestly, going back to Dark Tower was a proper, like, holy shit, they don't know what they've got here, and it's only 7. I mean, it was, I wanted it so bad in the moment that not only was I already carrying 2 heavy, big bags of shopping back home, but also I'd fucking pulled my back the day before, and I was in living agony just walking around with the shopping I had. But like, I knew if I left it, it would be gone if I came back later or tomorrow. So that is a good one. I do like that. I also honestly have to talk about Winky.
Yes, Winky.
Because Winky was something that Eli just bought in a record shop. You know, one of those, fuck it, that sounds good, let's talk about that this week. And when we talked about it, we didn't know the rabbit hole that would open up beneath us. And the story that came out of it, which led to episode 181. Jesus, that's so long ago. Which is our 3-hour documentary all about an obscure, tiny badge that was popular for almost 3 months in 1984, and the crazy shit story of the advertisement that tried to sell it. So that's probably it. The worst thing might be the bat in a glass cage that someone sent. That wasn't cool. And apparently illegal as well.
Oh.
So...
Yeah, I mean...
apparently don't post dead animals to people.
I mean, you say that, but you do have a collection of dead animals as props.
Eli has a collection of dead animals given to him by Biffo as well. So...
I was going to say, I distinctly remember the chant of the witch hole of Keith.
Yeah, you know what? Blame that bastard for it. Anything dead on the podcast is from Biffo, so you can blame him. So that's pretty fucking awful, actually. But that counts as a digitizer thing because we opened that on digitizer. And then maybe, honestly, recently, that fucking cheese candle. Like a candle that smells of cheese and onion crisps, which is honestly vomit-inducing. I don't know why things like that need to exist.
I mean,
why
that,
not?
the cheese ice cream and such horrors.
Oh, God, the cheese
I mean, you know, it's just dog shit. Anyway, horrible shit.
If you want to know bad candles, have a look at the Arkham Files candles. They've got one that smells like skin and various other... They don't actually, it's just part of their jokes.
Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, it's like fake dog poo, isn't it? It's like, ha ha ha, it exists, but what are you going to do with it? Once you've had that 3 seconds of, ha ha, I'm holding poo. No, you're not. I know, how funny. Oh. Now I own plastic shit.
To go with all the other plastic shit everyone undoubtedly owns in this day and age.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, metaphorically.
Yeah. Be a symbol of philosophy, I guess. So, you had the best piece of that. How about your favourite moment from Cheapshow?
I honestly think it might be the whole of episode 300. Because it was at the height... I mean, look, we've been going 11 years. Our numbers have been like this, right? And that's just the way things go. But 300 felt like the peak of Cheapshow. Like our most successful, our most kind of wonderful achievement. Bearing in mind that, like, as a stand-up, I performed to maybe the biggest audience might have been 100 people. And so... Oh, there you go. Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah, so, like...
I was there for
it was it was just beautiful to come on stage and see a huge audience all there to see me and Eli do Cheapshow, and not like we were part of someone else's show and that was nice, or we were part of a bigger lineup and we were also there. It was like, no, this is ours, this is our moment. And I was sick with panic in the lead up to it because there were rail strikes and hotels were overbooked and blah 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 and all this shit. And I thought, you play for the performance, you perform for the audience who come, right? And you don't begat the ones who turn up. You give your 100% for whoever turns up, and that was always my mantra, no matter what would have happened. But to come out on stage and see that huge audience and know it's there for us and revel in that for 2 hours was just beautiful. Honestly, beautiful. It's one of my favourite moments in my life, full stop, was that whole show. The fact that it came together like it did. And, you know, for 500, we thought, well, we're not going to top that. We're purposely not going to top that. But what we are going to do for 500 is do something the same but different. So, you know, we're going to have guests still, and we're going to have Cheapshow games, but this one's going to be more narrative kind of thing. To have a bit of fun, basically, and to also just make it feel different from 300, which has a variety show feel. Actually, to be fair, I stole the idea for 300 from League of Gentlemen, who would use the first half of their live shows to be kind of tuxedoed and sketches in an Edinburgh style. And then the curtain comes down and the interval they come up and it's more of a kind of play. And 300 has that with the fake charity shop setup we have, which is just an excuse for more games. But with this, it's like there's kind of a narrative and there's kind of a beginning, a middle and an end, but there's also things. So I've built 500 to be like a capper of a decade, you know, and to put a bow on Cheapshow at 10. Well, I mean, I know it's 11 years, but a decade and 500 episodes.
I really wish I could be there for that. 300 was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, you can't chase your victories. But one of the reasons why we're going to try and live stream it as well for people who can't get there on the day, we thought we'd set up some kind of simple live stream thing that people can watch. It won't be fancy. It might just be one camera at the stage. But if you can't come for whatever reason, hopefully you can watch it live from home.
Hopefully. Work wouldn't let me have it off.
Bastards. It's always the same.
Oh, and it just... So, we can see in your mirror there, your very famous pinboard badge. How many pins do you actually own?
Don't know, actually. Don't know. I don't count. Because
you don't count.
I'd rather not know. I would say, looking at it roughly, there's probably maybe 250 badges up there. But that's the max, I think. Maybe. But that's the funny thing. I started my pin collection 11 years ago with 1, maybe 2 pins. And now I've got all that fucking crazy shit. But I love it. I became obsessed with that pinboard. And then obviously I've got my... hang on. I've got my other one.
There's another one.
The second pinboard is at Towers.
This is my
the Ghostbusters one, yes.
Yeah,
nice.
This is my Ghostbusters only one with just mostly logos. I'd like to replace all the other ones with just variations on the logo. That's my bag baby. But what I did do though is I kind of half valuated it. Like just based on what I've paid and then how much. I mean, I got these a lot cheaper than sometimes you can get on eBay. But I think this is worth like 500 quid on its own. With just some of these pins are like crazy expensive. Like this one, which is a coin, not a pin. But I got it for 50 quid. But I've seen other people sell it for like 180, 200. So I don't get that, but whatever. I just get the bargains. I don't overspend. I have overspent on one. What was the one I overspent on? Can't remember now. I did spend a lot of money on one particular pin and I can't remember what it was and I felt bad. Fuck it. Don't matter. Anyway, yeah, no, I like pin badges.
Can't argue.
Sorry.
Can't argue that.
Yeah.
Fair. I've got a minor collection up there, but nothing as exciting as yours.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. When does this episode go out?
I could probably get this out on Friday.
Well, I was going to say, here's an exclusive for you, because we'll probably have told it by then anyway. But if you come to the live show, and maybe afterwards, actually, we do have the new Cheapshow 500 pin. I don't know if that's going to focus, but whatever. But that's the new Cheapshow 500 pin badge.
Matt's thinking of dipping out of work as we speak.
But yeah, we should have some of these left over. So if you send an email if you want us to reserve one, maybe, I guess, and we can put it in your back pocket or whatever.
Ooh. Thank you, Karen. Just sent you a text.
Yeah, we got those this morning. They came in this morning, and it was like, oh shit, that was quick. And I think it's cool. I've liked all the pin badges we've done, basically, but that might be my favourite so far. We've done 4 pins. Yeah.
Who makes your pins?
Oh, it's a company called, I think in Chester, maybe I'm wrong, but they're called Made by Cooper.
Yeah, same as us.
I think they're really good. Yeah, I've got your pin badge on the board somewhere in the corner there somewhere. It's really hard to find it when I've got so fucking many.
Yeah,
it's like, where's Wally? It is like, no, it's like, where's Wally though? Where I'm like, bollocks. Oh, there it is, right next to Cartman. All right, cool, got it, perfect.
Funny enough, we have a Cartman in our group.
I was going to say, wait, did we mail him Cartman? Is he just like put up there like a butterfly or a bug?
No, this one's just generic Cartman.
You don't want our we won't send you our Cartman.
No. I mean...
You'll smell like that candle.
Yeah.
It smells worse than the candle.
Well, that's good to know. I put him up in against Eli in a stink-off.
I think we might have our first victory against Cheapshow. That's not what you've heard of.
They're both lovers of herbal, let's just say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
And other sins. Anyway, I'm not here to judge Eli. That's for my own fucking podcast. Thank you very much.
Fair play.
So, with your audience, obviously you get them involved in the live shows and such. How about them sending you stuff dubious and hopefully undubious one day?
I honestly think, despite how gross our podcast is at times and how scatological it is, we've largely had a very respectful audience when it comes to handing things in. Over 10 years, there can't have been more than like 3 or 4 items which were just, oh, fuck off. You know, it's like the bat thing, you know? It's like, I don't want anything dead sent to us. Also, although I am notoriously a smoker of the herb, please don't send me marijuana in the post either. It's things like that. It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, thank you, bless you, but please never do that. You know, and by and large, I think people get the assignment when they send things in. Of course, they want a reaction out of us, but we've never tried to be an overreaction kind of pod. If we're disgusted by something, you do know about it, but otherwise, it's usually most things are underwhelming. So, you know, I think basically the stuff we get from our audience is largely respectful, and they get the game, right? They get the format. So that's kind of cool. And then obviously we do things like Your Envision every once in a while to try and get a bit more involvement that way. So, you know, we do our best. It's just tough because, like, you know, and you know this, independent podcaster, it's like that means so much depending on what perspective you have. So, like, people say, oh, I'm an independent podcast, but I'm part of a network, and there's actually a production company who edits our stuff and puts our social media out, and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, when you look at me, you're looking at like 95% of Cheapshow, and not to belittle Eli, but you know,
yes,
Eli doesn't do. But like he doesn't edit, he doesn't do the website, he doesn't do the social media, he doesn't do blah 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 blah. He turns up, he records, he gives himself in that respect. We spitball creatively, but like effectively, when you look at Cheapshow, it's like it's me, and like that workload is terrifying sometimes when you want to keep to a schedule. So I try and be respectful to the audience who listen to us as best I can, and I hope they're aware that you know, like the road to hell has good intentions. It's like for every fuck up that I do with scheduling or late Patreon stuff, I'm hoping people get it that I don't have a team and I'm doing it and I'm just trying my best. So I try and be respectful, because we wouldn't be doing this 11 years in without that audience and without our Patreon supporters. So I struggle at times, but I hope people realise that I do care, and I'm thankful for allowing us to do this.
Yeah, honestly, from what I've listened to for however many years it's been, I mean, I think I found you guys back in 2016 at Beyond the Tube.
Wow, fucking hell.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I know, man, dude, Jesus.
You do an awesome job, dude. Honestly, hats off to you.
Yeah, it's tough, though, because like I also know that I paint myself as the bad guy in my own show, right? So sometimes it's like, yes, it's genuine incompetence, and sometimes I lean into it or you know, exaggerate it. And as a result, that means I get a lot of shit from people saying you're awful at what you do and blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, yeah, you might think that, but guess what? I'm still doing this 11 years on and get bent. Yeah. I must be doing something right, and if you don't like it. So, you know, you ride all that shit to some extent, but it's part of the game, unfortunately.
We got the following to boot as well, so, you know, anyone says bad, fuck them, because, let's face it, you wouldn't have the following if you didn't have what you have.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we know that there's a billion podcasts out there, and we know it's like, have you ever heard of this thing called like the podcast bottle or something? It was something that someone told to me like 10 years ago, and it's probably meaningless now, but they always describe the podcast industry as like a wine bottle. And like, if you take the numbers of the podcasts that are out there in the universe, like 80% of them exist in the bottle part of it, right, in the main body of the bottle. And that's the podcasts that get anywhere from like 10 to 900 listens per episode, right? And then we're fortunate to be in like the shallow kind of bit in the top, where we're in podcasts that get a couple of thousand a week, right? And that kind of thing. But then the neck of it, the top where the cap is, the narrowest and smallest part, that's where you get your Joe Rogans and your big name superstar podcasts that get millions of downloads. And that's such a small part of what podcasting is, but it gets all the attention. So everyone else below the cap is fighting to stay above or stay relevant within the audience that they have. And that's the struggle. That's what I'm thankful for, because it's a fucking tough business. It's like anyone can make a podcast. The hard part is getting people to find it, to get people to discover it, to share it, to enjoy it, to get involved. And so, yeah, we do our podcast primarily to amuse ourselves, but we are loath to take that for granted at the same time. We just hope, basically, the format is just the window dressing to the world of Paul and Eli. It's like, what if two dickheads who shouldn't be making a podcast made a podcast? But more explicit and self-aware.
Yeah, love it. Speaking of Eli and yourself, what is the banter like on mic versus off mic? I mean, you said you've painted yourself as a bad guy in your own show because of bullying Eli. To some extent, deserved. And you were booed, I think, on the 300 when you came on versus Eli.
I love it, though. The thing is, I love it in that moment because, like, that's pure panto, right? And you can't lean into it. And actually, because of the way 300 goes, with how it kind of ends with me getting electrocuted and killed and then turned into a ghost and blah, 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 there's kind of like, oh, the evil guy got his comeuppance kind of vibe to it, right? So, again, you just play into that. The great thing about Cheapshow is, like, we play it up and into our deficiencies. So, whatever our limitations are, it's fun to push against them knowing it's going to be hopeless. So, you know, even though we have quite nice kit now, 10 years in, you know, we've got a nice H6 recorder and this Ozbot thing and blah, blah, blah. It's like this whole podcast maybe initially cost like 80 quid to get going. And so at least we don't want to have a big studio. I mean, we're never going to get a big studio. So we think within our remit, we do what we say on the tin. But it is like more window dressing to the Paul and Eli show. Hopefully, anyway.
Fair enough. How difficult would you say running a live show is compared to, like, recording a regular episode?
It's fucking terrifying. because I'm sorry to, you know, play my violin here, but, like, it is me. It's like, who's in charge of production? Me. Who's writing the script? Me. Who's dealing with tickets and the theatre? Me. Who's doing the PR for the, you know what I mean? It's like... And it's terrifying because right now, 500 looks like this. It looks like 2 slides of a PowerPoint and a script. And that's it right now. And we have to film some video bits and we have to get some sound effects made. And Noiseland's going to work with us on 2 new songs. And, you know, and it's what, 5 weeks away, whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, I know one way or the other, there will be a show on the 23rd. And whatever it looks like in my head will probably not be what it looks like in the final thing. And I know we'll get there, and I know things will change between what happens and there, but it's still terrifying because the weeks just go by like this at the moment for me, with my workload and everything. So, yeah, it's just a lot. They're fun, they're rewarding, but again, it's like, again, that's why I take my violin out. It's hard for me to kind of truly sometimes soak that up, because I'm also doing the admin. It's like... Again, not to throw Eli under the bus again, but I'm about to, so get bent. But, you know, once the live show finishes, he can fuck off and let people buy him drinks at the bar. Meanwhile, I'm packing up, getting the hard drive from the show off the guy. I'm packing all the props up and this, that, and the other. And then once that's all done, then I can drag my huge fucking suitcase out and then meet the people who are waiting for us. So, you know, it is rewarding. It's just a lot of work. But, again... We're not doing, like, for instance, you know when, like, you saw Biffo do a digitizer? He is props and sound effects and special effects and songs, and he goes to town on it. I can't do that, so I have to do a proxy thing in that energy, in that style, but with something I can put in a suitcase.
So I remember seeing you coming off the train at 400, you absolute panic on your face as you're belting it down the train to get out and disappear.
I know. I always feel bad, but it's like... I mean, basically, what it comes down to is I have massive social anxiety that people don't think realise because of how I am in the podcast and blah, blah, blah. But, like, it's like... it's a cliche, but it's true. But it's like, it's masks, isn't it? So the version of me talking to you now is the kind of... I'm the performer Paul a little bit, but I've let my guard down and I'm not Cheapshow Paul Gannon. And then Cheapshow Paul Gannon is more of a kind of anxiety-ridden, high-stress, pretty little prick who never gets his way, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the real Paul Gannon, which is just hates meeting people in general, can't hold a conversation unless it's about something I personally know something deeply about, would rather not make small talk because I find it stressful. I fall into other versions of me to keep... So, you know what I mean? It's like... It's just weird. in that, like, I have these different versions of myself. And when people meet me in the street, I try and be whatever version they want in that moment. But sometimes it's like, oh, this is the worst moment in my life. I don't want them to walk away thinking I'm a prick. So, hey, oh yeah, kind of thing. So it's just more down to my anxiety, and I get all that out of my system in the recordings, basically.
Well, there was no worry. Honestly, when we met you on the train, there was no worry about you being a prick. We knew you were busy. We just said hello.
I thought you were going to say we knew you were
left
a
I
prick.
thought you were, yeah, I thought you were going to say that as well, to be fair.
No,
And fair
honestly,
enough.
you were busy. You were stressed. We could see that. We were just like, hi, love your stuff. Let you get on with it. Let you do your thing. 'Cause you
Yeah,
were busy.
no, and I do appreciate that because, you know, as I say, usually when I'm traveling to gigs, especially if I'm on my own, I'm like completely shut off from the world. I have my earphones in. I'm like, I just want to listen to anything other than the thoughts in my mind, because otherwise I'm going to panic between here and the venue or here and the whatever. So yeah, I mean, whatever. We're all fucking fuck up human beings in some respect, right? So the best thing you can do is say, here's where I am a fuck up. I'm sorry. Please tolerate me. I'm aware of it. But, you know, I might not know how to talk to you in public.
Well, going to something that I think you still hopefully like.
Yeah.
What do you think about modern day ghost hunting?
It's fucking in the dog shit toilet. This is a rant within itself, and part of my book is about this. And actually, I need to rewrite huge swathes of certain parts of my book because my opinions have changed, and also things have changed in the time since I finished the draft. So, ultimately, the very broad, simplified for the sake of an argument is YouTube has pretty much killed ghost hunting. Certainly in terms of, like, respectability, even if it had it in the first place. Because I make this analogy that, like, the reason why ghost hunting was seen as quite an academic thing originally was because back in the day, in the 1800s, early 1900s, only reasonably privileged people had the time to themselves to do ghost hunting. So it was always professors of this and that, or, you know, men with fancies and follies and money to burn that would create these ghost clubs or whatever. And they had access to all this equipment, which, you know, they believed gave us evidence of the ghost hunt, gave us evidence of ghosts or whatever, and everyone came up with their theories with chalk and vibrations and bowls of mercury and recordings and 8-tracks and acetates and footsteps and whatever. And then there was a massive change in the 70s where not only did the idea of the paranormal changed fundamentally from, like, gothic horror, haunted houses, the kind of more like traditional universal horror, to horror in your own doorstep. So you had The Exorcist, The Entity, Poltergeist, where those kind of things now became commonplace within a familiar family home. And then Ghostbusters obviously changed that because it jammed science and modern paranormal thinking, ghost hunting thinking, onto a Bob Hope comedy vehicle of the 50s. I mean, that was the marriage that made that film work. The spin-off of that is that the language of ghost hunting changed through films and shows like that, which then fed into the democratization of ghost hunting, which it just means that more people could finally do it. More people could get a camcorder and go to a haunted house and film in the woods or whatever and record with their dictaphones. That people had access to things that they could now record their own paranormal activity with, if you believe such things were caught. So then Most Haunted happens. And Most Haunted really did revolutionize ghost hunting for the absolute worst. Because, again, mostly up until then, most ghost hunting shows were things like, you know, In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy, or, you know, those mystery shows, you know, like Arthur C. Clarke's Mystery of the Universe. Yeah. They're usually kind of like documentary style. And Most Haunted was an immediate first-person ghost hunt with quote-unquote modern equipment that people at home could do. And that was its blessing and its curse, because what they did was they changed the model of ghost hunting, but then they also showed a generation of people that any fucking idiot can also now do it as well. And no one knows what they're talking about, and everyone thinks they think their gadgets work, but REM pods don't work, K2 meters don't work. it's that you have to kind of work backwards. Until we know what a ghost is, if one exists, how can you possibly think of measuring it? Then you fall into psychics, and then blah, 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 blah. But then what happens is, the genre explodes off the back of Most Haunted. Ghost Hunters runs with that baton. That becomes a huge success. Then you got Zach Baggins. That explodes with the Ghost Adventures. And like after Most Haunted, Zach Baggins is the other single most corrosive cancer to ghost hunting that there has ever been. Because if Most Haunted taught the form, he taught the attitude. And so YouTube exploded into a bunch of edgy, dicklord, I'm not going to say incels, but like forward in like ignorance, like willingly ignorant people who were now using really expensive cameras and equipment sold by other con artists to prove that ghosts exist. And so the rule of thumb is, if there's a ghost hunting group and you watch their film on YouTube and it's 40 minutes and nothing happens, and they go, well, nothing happened, guys, well, let's see what happens next week, and then you find out that all of their stuff is a bit like that, then that's the channel you need to watch. If you watch Twin Paranormal and they're screaming every 5 seconds and bellowing everything's a demon or a skinwalker, which culturally speaking shouldn't even exist outside of one tiny state of America, and then screaming and everything's heightened and everything's faked and everything is ridiculous, and they belittle the tragedy. And then they're buying houses that are allegedly haunted to run as Airbnbs to invite other ghost hunters to come to for their own YouTube channels. And they're making the YouTube channel. And it's like mold. It's just mold. But that's what takes up the most of the stratosphere of ghost hunting now. It's the YouTube, a celebrity forward ghost hunting, which don't care about reality. They just care about engagement. And all their fans believe it. And the debunking channels that pop up, they just get the toughest time dealing with that audience. So like media literacy and rationality has completely gone out of the window, and it's directly, certainly in the paranormal terms, through YouTube and that whole genre. So the short answer is it's dog shit now. Thanks.
I'm actually curious about this because I've seen a similar thing happen with the true crime popularity splurge.
Yeah.
Where it's, as you said, like belittling a tragedy, coming up with unrealistic expectations of their own experiences. You've got people that like see someone else on the other side of the street at night and immediately go, oh my god, he must be trying to fucking murder me or whatever. Because of it, and it gets sensationalised. I'm also quite curious to know what you think of two particular ghost hunting shows.
Okay.
Of very bad quality.
I might not know them, but go on.
So the first one was Paranormal Home Inspectors, which is very bad. But
I saw a bit of that,
yeah,
and it's a bit pathetic. It is just pathetic. It's like, this is the best idea we've got. We're home inspectors. It's like, okay, so do you get rid of mold as well?
Yeah, I was thinking, what is your fault?
Clean your ghosts and clean your bathroom at the same time.
Yeah, get the toilet fixed. That'll fix it. I've certainly heard them sound like a demon before. What would you think of the idea of a show like that actually does that shit? Because obviously stuff like black mold can cause issues, and certain machines can cause people to feel dread, cold spots, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What would you feel about a show that did that genuinely and not the way Paranormal Inspectors did it?
So there are channels out there that do that on YouTube. Honestly, it's like you're not going to get mainstream shows doing this. So there's a guy on YouTube called Kenny Biddle. He loves the supernatural and ghost hunting, but he does not give two fucks about half the people who do it. And so his channel is all about rationality. It's about breaking down what this could be. What does this tool actually do? They sell you it, but what does it do? What's its insides like? And you know, he is, I'm not even going to say a skeptic. He's just a rational person going, if you want to take this genre seriously, you should at least know this, right? Because so many ghost hunting channels don't know what the fuck they're doing. I've got a REM pod. It goes beep when a ghost's nearby. Do you know why? No. Of course you don't, because what you're holding is a theremin. And if you know how a theremin works, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't catch ghosts. It's meant to make sci-fi movies more spooky, right? So the problem is that debunking channels in general are kind of pointless. I'm not saying they are pointless. What I'm saying is people who don't believe in the paranormal don't care. So they don't care to watch a show that goes, yeah, I know I don't believe in ghosts, so I'm not going to watch this, right? And then people who love ghost hunting and believe in ghosts aren't going to watch it because they do believe. And they'll always have a counter argument. So it is important that We have debunking channels, we have skeptical societies, we have people who question things, because quite rightly, I want to have at least 10 other excuses for why that door slammed before I believe a ghost did it, right? I want to make sure I eliminate everything else before I say, well, I don't know, maybe a ghost fucking did it. But unfortunately, like, you look at Uncanny, and Uncanny is a show I took a massive dislike to pretty quickly, because it proclaimed to be a kind of, we listen to both sides, and it's like, no. What you've done here is, you've made the scientific explanation the alternative possibility, not the one that people should maybe go with, like, it might be your pipes weren't lagging, or this house is old and is subsident and this door closes naturally. It's like, no, this is a bone to our skeptical side of our audience, to make them say, well, yeah, they did mention it. They did mention sonic waves. They did mention ultraviolet light and all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, Danny always comes down onto the side of the people who tells the story. And that's where it borrows. That's where Ghost Hunting's changed again as well, where it's also borrowed from true crime. Because, yes, you have the facts and things of true crime stories, but effectively they're all sold on the emotion. They're all sold on the victim or someone's perspective, right? It's an emotional story. So if you come in and you go, hi, Danny, I was bullied by a poltergeist when I was 10, right? And it ruined my life, Danny, and I was flung around the room and blah, 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 blah. It's like if you go to the skeptic and he goes, well, you know, maybe not. We don't have any proof that this happened. We can only say that X, Y, Z, so blah, blah, blah. That's the bad guy's response, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're going, oh, this poor girl, her life was ruined and she's been tormented all her life, and you can see it in her eyes. So everything's more emotive now than factual. And, you know, that's why, you know, you're not going to get debunking shows by and large. Certainly mainstream, because they don't care and there wouldn't be an audience for it.
Yeah. Not to drag you, I was going to mention the second show, but not to drag you down a further fucking tangent, but this is something... Shut up, Matt. This is something that pisses me off majorly with historical conspiracy shows. And they call themselves documentaries, but you fucking know the type. The name is a bit misleading. Mockumentary might be.
Yeah.
There was one in particular, it was about there were two actually made. One was about the Megalodon, and the other one was mermaids, and they were released on, I believe, Nat Geo and like Animal Planet and these factual channels. They were at the time. I know they've gone to shit now.
I mean, it means nothing now. Discovery means nothing now in terms of a channel name.
Yeah, it's fucking alien, ancient Egypt, pyramid building Nazis or whatever the fuck is going on in that channel. But it used to be Animal Planet stuff. Used to be mostly lion hunts gazelle, polar bear hunts seal, and then they had these two documentaries I watched as a kid, and one was about mermaids and the other one was about Megalodon. And they are filmed entirely seriously as actual documentaries, as if what is happening on screen is real. They bring in scientists, they're actually just actors, but they're fully realistic scientists they carve, and they play it completely straight, and the only difference is a disclaimer that is on the screen for 2 seconds at the front saying this information may not be accurate and true. And it is entirely a documentary proving that humans evolved differently and proving that the Megalodon was real, and rely entirely on conspiracy theorists. And they do that thing you were mentioning with the scientists, where they have like an alternative opinion that is on the screen for 20 seconds that is chopped up to say stuff they didn't actually say, and it's presented as the, oh, you're ruining the fun, or oh, well, the scientists...
Look at this killjoy, hey?
Aye, and the second thing is that the scientists will always say, we think this is what happened, this is our leading theory, because that's how science fucking works, it changes. Yeah. Whereas the person presenting the ghosts are real, or the Megalodon is real, or whatever the fuck, will go, we know this, for sure, this is 100% what happened, and we are telling you today. It twigs me the fuck off.
Because someone explained, someone had a great analogy on social media that I've literally stolen, where they said, imagine there was a show called Moose Hunter, and every week 4 men went into the woods, and using black and white camera they tried to hunt a moose, and every episode they didn't catch one, but they maybe almost saw one. Imagine that was every week. It's like, that would be an awful fucking show, but that's what ghost hunting shows are. That's exactly what they are. It's like under the Trade Descriptions Act, it should be criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 men entering a moose would be criminal.
I mean,
how about 4 men
depending on the state.
The other one I was going to ask you about was Ghost Files, which does that thing where it pairs a cynic off with a believer sort of thing.
Oh, I don't know that one. Where's that one?
Oh, I think it was like a BuzzFeed kind of thing. It's on YouTube. And
okay.
they were very much the fucking... Like, they don't... I'm not a fan of them, but they have two members. They're the presenters. One actually believes in it. He doesn't actually fucking believe, but he plays it up as if he does, and the other one is the pure cynic. And they go around, and every week they do not find a ghost, because...
Of course
they don't.
Now, it's worth noting that just because I don't believe in ghosts doesn't mean people haven't had experiences that I can't explain. I'm not here to to dismiss what people say. It's such a complicated, deep, psychological, emotional, like intellectual thing to talk about that it's kind of hard to generalize, right? But sorry, go on.
Yeah. So they do the thing that a lot of shows are doing now, where it's one cynic presenter, one believer presenter, and they return over and over to it. But because, as you said, the moose show that doesn't find the fucking moose, the believer presenter, like, you know,
it's just because, for want of a better phrase, these shows are built to be cock teasers. It's like, we didn't get one this week, but next week, baby, I promise you, we're gonna get one.
I promise,
the problem
baby,
is
we'll
now,
change, shall we better?
Yeah, no, honestly, it's like an abusive relationship. It's like they treat you bad all the time, but they go, no, baby, it's different this time. Come on, honey girl. And you go, oh, all right, sugar tits. And you go along with it for 8 years, and people go, it's a bad relationship. Get out of this. He's never going to marry you. You know, it's just that. And also, their attitudes stink. I think, like, most TV ghost hunting shows are purposely made to be obnoxious, I think, now. Or like you've just fallen into like a frat brothers party that just happens to be doing a ghost hunting themed evening, you know? It just that whole vibe is so like it's spread out like a virus, even to like British channels who now affect the Zach Baggins style, and not just in terms of attitude, but like editing, how they present their content, how everything's like. It feels like editing in ghost hunting shows hasn't changed since the Saw movies of the early 2000s. You know, like they're always cut like a Saw movie now, or a shit Conjuring movie. So it feels like what we're doing is we're like regurgitating fiction and then presenting it as fact on YouTube, because people now would rather get lost in the fantasy of YouTube than fact. And then the fucking problem with that is now we're in a discussion with the government of this country to go, oh, by the way, the government might force YouTubers or YouTube to forward the BBC and ITV and Channel 4 in this country with trusted source entertainment, and then squash smaller channels right back down to the bottom because you just can't trust what they're saying. And it's like, that's the fucking problem. That's like you literally crushing the platform that was built on that. I'm shaking a fist.
Yeah.
A little bit of a tangent, but I'm fucked off.
This has gone off.
I could talk for hours on this bullshit. It all loops together because the same people doing this bullshit, the same people in the conspiracies, the same people in true crime, not necessarily the same exact people, the same methods, the same ideologies, the same tactics, for lack of a better word.
It's because trust has absolutely gone, and now everyone looks at things from a point of view of distrust first, and then you have to work if you want them to trust you or not from what you do. And unfortunately, that's what like the paranormal's problem is that it's actually the flip of that, where people going, this is all fucking real. I can't believe it. It's like, oh God, I wish you were better read. But then that sounds really intellectually like sneery. But it's tiring. It's like we've accepted tropes as facts. We've accepted cliches as like statements of news or whatever. I don't know.
And it's kind of like this immediate hit back you get of, I don't want to call it anti-intellectualism exactly, but it's where if you have someone with a belief and you go at them with a fact, it's not you're giving them information, that's an attack of the belief, and immediately you get the fight back from that.
Yeah, and you know the worst thing is that it's, in terms of ghost hunting, it's frivolous, right? It's like, who really gives a shit? But unfortunately, there are dark ramifications of all of this that honestly is a big part of my book, and you know, it's a whole other conversation, but like morality's gone out the window when it comes to ghost hunting fundamentally. So, you know, I still love it, I still miss it, but the temperature's changed and it's just a bit too depressing for me right now. So it feels like when my book finally does come out, right, that will be a bow on that part of my life, I think, because I think that's my statement.
Yeah. To get on to a happier topic, Matt, the next question.
Oh, go on.
To reel us back in a little bit here, how was it to finally be recognised at the Golden Lobes when you got your absolutely well-deserved award and then got cheated out of one the last time?
Yeah, I think we did. But no, you know what? It was what I needed. Like a year ago, I'm not going to say it was in a bad place, but a year ago was tough for various reasons, like personal, work reasons. And, you know, Cheapshow often became like a lifeboat in a storm, where at least I could cling to that for some stability. And, you know, we've been going 10 years, and no one's really given a fuck about us. We've got some big fans and some people who support us, and, like, some people in the industry who love what we do, but we've never made mainstream, we've never broken through. We've always just endeavoured to do it from our point of view, and, like, say, at least we're not just fucking two stand-up comedians talking about eggs this week with, you know, Stephen Fry. It's like, at least we're not that, right? So it was just nice to be nominated. It was nice to be invited. And I honestly went in not expecting to win anything, just because it's like, oh, that's not how things work for Cheapshow. So to win that award for, like, effectively what the award is like best cult podcast is what they're saying, because I hate the title grower, not a shower. That's just, I get it, haha, but I call it best cult podcast. And that was like recommendations from people I don't know, from people who aren't immediate friends or fans, to say, hey, well done on what you've done. And it was like, that was what I needed in that moment, right? That sense of finally someone's gone, hey, Cheapshow's a thing that exists and we recognise it. So it was like to be part of that conversation for a little bit.
Fair play. I mean, we can see it on your mantelpiece proudly displayed there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and someone did me a 3D printed bully.
Is that what that is? I've been looking at that.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that for ages?
Yeah, hang on.
What's that?
Oh, sorry to be nosy, but I am having a general good look around.
Because I think I said in a podcast how I really wanted one, but you're never going to get one for love nor money. Who knows where they fucking exist now? But yeah, so they 3D printed a bronze bully for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
I was a bit confused because I was like, wait, what wasn't it the rubber bullies that you got? But this is the one they gave to the professional darts players for the charity throw. That's what they would win at the end of the season and take it on tour with them to help raise charity. So that's the bronze bully. And it fucking made my day. It was great.
Nice.
I still contend that, without irony, Bullseye is the best British game show ever made. Because it's very British, and it's actual, the logics and the mechanics of the gameplay is actually really clever. So I still, genuinely without irony, think Bullseye is one of the great, great British game shows. I've said it.
We're getting hardline gaming opinions here, lads.
Well, you know, I have a hill that I want to die on.
Only one?
Today.
And it's the book.
Tomorrow will be about the current state of the Ghostbusters franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I'm not going to ask. I have restraint.
I mean, you could if you wanted to. I'll give you... Because I've got 10 more minutes, right? Maybe... Yeah,
Oh,
I
shit.
could do about
Oh, no.
20.
Wait a minute.
I could do 20 at the latest, all right?
Okay, never mind. We'll save that for another day. So,
Okay.
as far as the podcast goes, what would be like a dream scenario for like an event to host or to go to or to be a part of, or for a number of viewers or for a guest you'd really want to have on, that sort of thing?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? Honestly, we've kind of scratched a load of our bucket list things off. We've done a massive live show. We packed that out. It was fucking wicked. Our Cheerful Earful recordings have really been fun. We released a comedy album. We've won an award. We've got the Cheapshow magazines, which are fucking great. The Winky documentary is still something I'm working on, slowly but surely, and I might try and think about a crowdfunding source thing to make a documentary about Winky properly. That's something as well. The guests we've had on, I didn't think we'd ever get. There's still one or two that I would like to have gotten, but actually, you know, in the whole don't meet your heroes thing. Like, for instance, Richard Herring and Adam Buxton are two people I would love to get on Cheapshow, but I also think they wouldn't get it, and it might be awkward. But we had, like, Gareth Reynolds from the Dollop podcast, who I loved the work of, but he was nice, but I don't think he got the podcast, but he was very pleasant. Same for Robert Popper, you know, when he was on. I think he had a fun time, but I don't think he really got it. But Paul Putner, Nick Helm, Biffo, Ethan Lawrence, Suze Kempner, Rialina, they have all been guests I've loved having on and would love to have on again. The guest we've got this week is Marcus Parks from the Last Podcast on the Left podcast network. And I've been wanting to get him for years, I think. And I'm literally in the edit of it now, and it's like, yeah, he got it. He got it. He had fun. Great. Hooray. So we've done all right. I think the obvious one, and this is never going to happen, by the way, but like a Cheapshow movie.
Ooh.
Because honestly, I think the worst thing in the world is YouTuber stroke podcaster making movie based on their podcast IP. I just think it's a bad idea, regardless of if it's good or not.
Well, you didn't like Fred the movie?
No. Well, yeah, like Fred the movie or the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. Or, okay, and I need to say this carefully, like Stuart Ashen's movies, which are good fun movies. No. Good fun movies, but they're for his audience. They're not really mainstream in terms of that it's going to win an audience at the cinema, right? So what I'm saying is, like, they're insular, and I think the worst thing that Cheapshow could do would be an insular meta podcast. But I do know what the film would be if you want to know the plot.
Sure, if you have time.
Because again, I'm never making it, so it doesn't fucking matter. But the plot was going to be, at the beginning of the film, you would see a montage of the birth of Cheapshow, it being far more successful than it was in real life, but like successful. Then we raised money to make a film, and then we made the film, and then we previewed the film, and it's a massive, horrible flop, and we lost our fan base. And then the film would be a documentary, like a Spinal Tappy kind of thing, about the fallout of that, about losing all of our friends and like not wanting to be associated with us anymore, and our fans being angry that we spent £2 million on a piece of shit, and all this kind of thing, and have it basically be a kind of riches to rags story, I guess. So at the end, it would be two dickheads in a shitty room making a podcast from scratch kind of thing. That would be the kind of the arc of it.
It would have to include that one fucking obligatory scene in every movie and episode like that, where Eli's living in a fucking motorhome trailer somewhere in the documentary.
I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Potentially. But it was just so we could have made it like with our phones or whatever, because if we were going to make the film, you'd have to make it cheap. So we could have spent a little bit of money on making the montage look like a real movie, you know, and whatever. But then when it cut to the fallout, it would just be like documentary style. Like you know, the thick of it, Veep, that kind of thing. So that would be the Cheapshow movie if we did one, which we're not, because honest to fucking Christ, it would kill me, and only 8 people would watch it, so it's not worth it. So,
and 5 of them are here.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that you've got the movie now; it's in your head.
A Pint of Cthulhu's first production at Cheapshow movie. Just fucking reveal.
We had to do that justice.
You know.
I mean, if we're making it bad on purpose, that could be our excuse.
Exactly, you know. So I mean, this is the thing. That would be the only thing Cheapshow could do. That would tick off the complete list of like bucket list items. But honestly, it's like we like when we did 400 when we did the fake TV episode thing, where it was like in a studio. We did an episode of Cheapshow, like with bits in and segments and animations and things. Like that was our TV pilot, right? That was like if Cheapshow was a TV show. So we did that there. So yeah. So there you go. So yeah, I think I don't really have. There are episodes I want to do. There's like little things we've never done. We might do it this year, but I keep saying this. Like we want to do the sports day episode where we have a sports day. So you know, egg and spoon, sack race, all that kind of shit. We might go back to LA because there's a reason to do that, and it might be Winky related again. Ooh. So that's potentially something we could do. Or honestly, maybe even go to a different part of Europe to do some Cheapshow stuff would be nice. We're going to do Cheapshow TV at the end of the year, but that's going to be a streamed fake night of Cheapshow if Cheapshow was an ITV type channel, right? So we do different programs. So there's things I still want to do with Cheapshow, but I don't have like big goals now. I'm actually, after a decade, I think, you know, we've done all right.
Fair enough. Let's go to the right opposite end of that then. If you didn't do podcasting, if you weren't doing the Cheapshow, what do you think you would be doing?
Probably working in a strip club.
I can see it.
You know, just like serving overpriced lager and champagne to businessmen who have been promised that the girl they're dancing with really likes them. So, it's like, maybe that could be that.
If you give her a tip, maybe she'll let you give her the tip.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I could do that. But, frankly, I work in radio when I'm not doing, Cheapshow shit or YouTube shit. So at the weekends, I'm like producing radio shows, local radio. So I don't mind doing that. If Cheapshow stopped, I would be like, all right, got more time to maybe develop radio stuff. So I'm reasonably thankful. Like someone said to me, are you doing what you want? And I was like, I guess I do. I do a podcast. I do this. I do comedy. I'm in radio. I just wish it paid better and I wasn't doing 8 things to support myself. I wish I could do 1 or ideally none. But you know what I mean? So it's like success is like, personable. It's from different points of view. And, I see other people with success that I wish I could have that of. And it's not going to happen, potentially. Who fucking knows? But I look around at what I've achieved, what I've done. It's like, well, at least I didn't stay in my hometown and do fuck all and fart out 8 kids or whatever, So I don't know. If Cheapshow's my legacy, at least there is one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Damn right. Well, very finally, what advice would you give to anyone out there trying to make their own show, make their own go of it, anything like that?
Stay off my patch.
Yeah, piss off, mate.
You heard it here first. Stay fuck off his patch.
I don't know. The thing is, if you want to do this kind of thing, you have to do it not because of money, because of... I know this sounds trite, but it's true. Not because of money or fame or being an influencer or getting free shit. You have to do it because this is what's inside of you and this is how you want to express it, right? However that might be. If it's a podcast, great. If it's a YouTube bunch of sketches, great. If it's a Let's Play video, if it's a Twitch stream, whatever the fuck it is, if it makes you happy for a small part of your day, that isn't your 9 to 5 or your family commitments. If it's something where you go, that's that version of me, this version of me is going to do this, then great, right? The hard part is always building an audience, finding an audience, and it's getting tougher. It's tough for us, and we've been going 10 years, so we don't even have the choice of exciting and new. We're about maintaining and begging for new ears. But even that's hard because some people look at a podcast and go, 500 episodes of that, I'm not getting in now, So everyone's got barriers to face. Various barriers to face. Everything is different. People will want to do one that talks about their sexuality or identity. Do it if you're passionate about it. It's important to have those voices out there, but it's also important to realise, there are things associated with saying that kind of honesty that's going to be combative. You have to know you're going to ride that and be true to yourself if you're going to go ahead and do it. So it's just basically the commitment to the bit, because for us to build Cheapshow, I made a decision 9 years ago, whatever it was, foolishly, to make it weekly. And I think, whilst that cemented Cheapshow as a proper thing, quote unquote, it also meant that was my life now. I just didn't expect it to go forward. And the constant stress of maintaining the audience has been like the nagging anxiety to me. So if you can bear all that in mind and realise not everyone's going to be, isn't going to be a mythical morning or whatever, then just do it. Just fucking ignore everything else and just do it. Providing it's not about killing cats or murdering people, follow your heart.
Or do it anyway, even if it is about those things. APOC doesn't give a shit.
But maybe don't make videos on it on YouTube, maybe, then that's the difference.
Yeah,
maybe don't record your crimes.
Well, Matt said finally, but very, very quickly.
Oh, go on.
We do have one more question from the audience, and that is, if you were going to do the Cheapshow movie, and you were going for maximum Hollywood sellout, who would you cast to play yourself and Eli? Are we talking Jack Black here?
No, you couldn't. Here's the beautiful thing. Part of the joke would have been in the montage, we wouldn't have been in the film, and there would have been actors playing us, right? And they were going to be very handsome and not like us at all, and that was going to be part of the joke. But we never got to, ever seriously considering who that might be. But you're right, someone like Jack Black or Paul Rudd kind of thing. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, but it would have to be, the joke would have to still work with the casting, but the casting would still have to be the joke, right? So, yeah, Jack Black and Paul Rudd would be a good pub. Or, even Steve... Simon Pegg and Nick Frost kind of fucking thing. You know, go for the easy joke, right? So maybe that's who we'd pick.
Love it. Paul, thank you very much for your time. Honestly,
My pleasure, sir.
appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I can say is where can people find you? What do you want to plug?
Address.
Anything you want to plug?
Oh, fucking whatever. Cheapshow. Yeah, no, it's just the one-stop shop is cheapshow.co.uk. If you start there, you'll find everything you need from that spot. We have our fortnightly YouTube series. We have our Patreon with all the extra stuff that goes with that. You know, the YouTube channel also has our walkabout videos at times and things once you've released them into the wild. And our podcast is everywhere. If you have a podcast app, we're probably on it. But just don't use Spotify because they're cunts.
Whoops.
Other than that, you know,
Fair play.
just speaking my truth.
As you should.
Well, that has been a Part of Cthulhu interviewing Paul Gannon from Cheapshow. Again, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you for
Pleasure
having me.
you on, and thank you very much for putting up with us and rearranging this because we needed to a few times. Life happens.
It was mostly my fault for being unconsciously busy. So, yeah,
Life
don't
happens.
worry about it. Thank
Life
you.
happens.
Yeah,
We love it.
yeah. I'm bored of it, frankly. I'm over it.
Just don't end it too soon. We still love you on Put Cheap Show.
You need to make it to the
Existentially.
500th.
Yeah,
After
we'll see how
that,
that
you
goes. Yeah,
Jesus.
we'll see how it goes. Anyway,
you.
thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and goodbye.
Bye.